So he's explaining in Muhammad Amalek that Reish is Goyim Amalek. On the one hand, he's the source of all of the other Midas Rois, the 7 Midas Rois, but they can be transformed. Whereas Amalek, Achadisha Adei Ovid, his end is total and eternal destruction. So what's in the Amalek? So we're holding the 3rd paragraph of Vayomer. It would be page Kuf Pei Vav. He said yesterday, describing the Yerida, it's interesting that before even the Ruach Shtus is the Krirus, is the coldness. And then comes the Ruach Shtus that I'm still okay. So why is it that Amalek has to be totally destroyed? Is because in Amalek there's absolutely no innocence. Why is there no innocence? Because she is Deyes Riboyne Machavad Lim Riboy. It's not pshat that he simply Nefesh Bahamis just wants to have a good time. Show me something better, I'm open. But Amalek knows his creator and intends to rebel against him. They made it this way. Made him that way. He calls him Riboyne. He calls the Eibishter not just God, but his master. He knows him. He knows the emes havayla. Hashem is the only truth. He's a big chassid. He knows also that through an aveda nasa nifrid me'adus rachman litzlan. He learned Tanya. So he knows that every aveda he's cut off. The Rabbi explains that for that moment there's always tshuva, but that moment is, as he says at length, doesn't help. Because he intentionally opposes him, rebels. How is it possible such a thing? You should know and appreciate and understand, and still, how is it possible? Like he explains at length in my modem of Megillas Esther of the Alter Rebbe and Shara of the Mittel Rebbe, Shenyone Shalamolik Chutzpe Visnasus Leikol Tam Seichel Vasbare. Amalek is the antithesis of the I am of Kedusha. It's just I am. No hasbara, I am, and that comes first and foremost. Chutzpah, brazenness, visnasus, and he just literally snasus, raises himself, asserts himself, without any tam, seichel vasbara. Three levels there, tam and seichel and hasbara. The Hainush Avshi, we will not can attempt to explain it, but obviously it's not. There's levels of excuses and reasons, and suggest an answer. But anyway, the Hainush Avshi, the Ba'atzmisha Ein Melis Nasas. What's the chutzpah of his Nasas, if he's exerting himself, of him saying, "This is time out. This is me. God, I'll see you in a few minutes. I'll see you later. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you next week." So Av, even though he knows by himself, ain't the melis nasos, what do you mean? He's exerting himself, ain't by shum mile. He doesn't have any mile, like b'seichel, like b'midas, like b'levushim, like b'nechasim. Not intellectually, who is he? Some great intellectual, some great person with deep emotions. Levushim, Pashim is begashmi, is gamas, he means also baruchni, is b'nechasim, possessions. Stamber means also possessions, beruchnis, how much did you learn, how much does he know, what has he amassed, beruchnis, mitzvahs, ideas. It's pretty poor. What's the expression? He's a poor specimen of a human being, but I'm actually reminded of Moishe Polter, who would say sometimes, he was actually a very kind, sweet man, but something like, drink, yeah, it'll improve your miserable existence. So he knows this about himself. After became who may is pondov, he has this chutzpah umischatzev b'fnei hagodol b'meno. That we're speaking in general now. That such a person, this is Amalek driving him. Such a person. We're talking about each one himself. There's this element of may is pondov, he is chutzpah umischatzev, and is audacious and chutzpah and disrespectful before b'fnei hagodol b'meno. Someone he knows is superior to him. In Beruchnis, Yashmis. This is just pure, it's the pure and the Kudas Hayeshes. He knows that he's Hayatochen, but
he's looking for us. There's no reason.
The reason is him. He's the reason. He's the reason. It's me. The reason is just the Kuda of me. And therefore, he can be disrespectful for someone that he knows that it's inappropriate. But you're an opinion sayer. You have something to offer here. But he does, because number one is me. The loitam seichel v'asbara, on a rational level, he knows he does know his place, and yet he doesn't care. So this is intentional. It's an intentional opposition because I'm very sorry. Right now, it's me what I want, and I don't care about any consideration. Not you, not the Eibishter, not nothing. So since Amalek is such an akuda, there's no redemption, there's no rehabilitation, there's no enlightenment, there's no nurturing, there's no embracing. For Amalek, there's no tikkun ubirur. He has to be thoroughly destroyed, crushed. However, let's continue. Amalek's the hardest avodah, obviously. The other avodas, we're not saying don't love, don't experience. Just channel it here. Other Rabbi here in Yiddishkeit to be richer and deeper. Okay? So you replace one taiva for another taiva. We used to have taivas in the Elam Hazeh, still does. But now we can have both worlds, the Elam Hazeh and the Elam Haba. We are from a Yid and still have a wonderful life. It's not such a big avodah. I'm a little bit tongue-in-cheek because it's a lo pashut, even that's not the tachlis. To replace one taiva with another. I used to enjoy this, now I enjoy that. Or a bit of both. But Amalek is a much bigger avodah, much harder avodah. There's no validation. There's no excuses for Amalek. You can't say you're a good guy, but you just misdirected. Come over here, I'll show you what's fun. Come to shul, enjoy good kiddush. Verbringen, Lonu Vayomer, it's Geschmack. I just saw yesterday in the Ami magazine. I mean, it's not Lashon Hara. This is the apex of their avodah. It's beautiful. I didn't read the whole article, but there's in the back of the magazine. I forgot his name. He writes nice articles. My wife reads them. She tells me sometimes to read them. Very nice. She's writing about a beloved teacher. It's because this quote is quoted on the side of the page, so the reader sees it right away. And the point was, he said, our teacher, he loved us. A beautiful picture, nice picture of the teacher engaging the student. He sees a very kind man. And he says, the student, that when we finally understood the Geschmack of a piece of Gemara and Tosfos, and all of the other shtusim fell away. That's the Nakuda. He made them understand that the real pleasure is in grappling with the Tosfos and then a Gemara and getting it. And the pat on the back, whether it's self-congratulatory or coming from the teacher, that's comes down to a covered thing. That's more fulfilling than the shtusim that we were into. So he really raised us up. Okay, so that's an avodah. That's right, not so difficult. But Amalek, there's no raising up. Amalek, there's no pass. Amalek is a war on the etzem opposition, the etzem etzias of self that lies at the core of the created being, Bemis. That has to be crushed, this opposition. And it all starts with being cold. That's how it starts. Let's continue. However, what's the omdom? Yeah. So when we have to battle Amalek, it's in the journey of the avodah. We're still struggling to go to Mitzrayim. Then we're facing Amalek at every step of the way. It means the beginning. It means the beginning till we get that at Zavos Chalal Udvash. The whole journey. But derech b'tzeischem Mitzrayim. As long as the avodah is the avodah chitzonis. What does avodah chitzonis mean? That I'm doing Torah mitzvahs because of an agenda. So if there's a reason for my Torah mitzvahs, which is saying now, the reason is because of the reward and Geschmack and it's fulfilling and I love it. Then you have to fight Amalek. So when it's after me in the midbar, he's into it completely, but he's into it for a reason. Like you explained the difference before. It goes into saying that the kivim should begin as this avodah engages only chitzonius and chitzonius aseichel. What does that mean? It means I'm enjoying this, but I can enjoy something else too. There's room for another rotz, there's room for another seichel, room for another midas. Right now, this I'm into, and this is what suits me. So as long as the avodah is not the emes of primis dik avodah mitzad alikus, then lachin efshe sheikones, then there can enter nidish. She puts in brackets. So the translators did this. But sometimes he just doesn't. Even the Lashon Kurdish translation does not convey the nuance. So zolzach rein chapen. You call it to enter.
Sometimes they put it in because that was the Lashon that the Rebbe said. Sometimes,
not sometimes, always.
So why are you saying that the editors put it in?
See, the editors, not that they put in their words. The editors chose to put his words.
Okay, yeah, sure.
It conveys in more directly what the message. When the Hebrew translation, it loses it. Ikonish could enter. Rein chappen is much more. It's much more delicate. Rein chappen means, you
Smuggle.
You're saying that by saying you're a good boy, You got to watch out.
To grab inside. To grab inside.
You can what? Grab a moment.
To grab inside. To grab inside.
Yeah, initial credo. So what is it? In other words, like the Rebbe doesn't want to make Amalek too big. So it's a Reicha. He doesn't want to say that's who you are. He could seize the moment. He could sneak in. Initial credo's coldness, asher korcha. He encounters you, Melashon Kar. And then the coldness, that's the first thing is. It's up one of the Hayom Yom is the first thing. The first descent is davening. When davening gets cold, when davening becomes a burden and gets cold, that's the beginning of all the descent. That's what he's talking about. And then the credos, Tovila de Sofik. Amalek is Begimatria Sofik. Ayin Mem Lamed Kuf 70, 40, 30, and 100 is the same. What is it? It's not 470. What is it? Can't be. Yeah, maybe it is.
250.
250.
Sorry, 240. 240.
That's it. 240. So Suffolk is 60 and 80 and 100. Yeah. So the next thing is the Suffolk. What's the Suffolk? The Suffolk is he doubts. He doubts the Eibishter. He doesn't doubt the Eibishter. He doubts I will make a difference. So I won't do it. So I will say it. I won't. Does it really make a difference? That's the next thing after the coldness. And what is so seductive is that it's cloaked in humility. Small little me make a difference. And I did the chitas. I didn't. I said I was there. I wasn't there. And then it just keeps on going. And then it's outright just, I don't, leave me alone. It's kids in class. We had a wonderful class. I told you, in yeshivas in the early teens. It was called the Yiddish class. It was the one class that taught in Yiddish. It was a hodgepodge of ages. We're all friends, all very close friends. And we laughed a lot. We sat around a big table. We did. I don't know how we learned. We managed to learn too. I just remember all the funny moments. But we learned. So one of the kids, a teacher would pick on him sometimes, and he would just put his hands on his head and we give a gishrei, leave me alone, in an accent. I don't know why he put this accent. We all burst into gales of laughter. But that's leave me alone. That's symbolic. Just leave me alone. I'm interested. So he's saying that this whole Milchama Amalek is when the Yiddishkeit has some level of agenda, which means chitzonius harotzen, chitzonius haseichel, chitzonius hamidas. There's a reason. There's a gain. Kasher avoid from the panim, but when the avoid is like a pnimi is bakshu panai, the Melech says to the examine my innards. Bakshu means to seek out. So it means that the panim is begiloi. It means his pnimi is haneshama. He's connected to the Eibishter mitzad alikus, not mitzad cheshben. Him pnimi sarotzen. It starts with Pnimi Sarotzen. I want this not in order to, but I want this because that's you and that's who I am and it can't be otherwise. There's no room for any other Rotzen, no matter how enticing. And therefore his understanding is in a way of Pnimius. That's not his understanding the thing because it makes sense. Because he understands the thing because it's the truth. That's the truth in the Pnimis HaMoichin, the Pnimis HaChochma. Shemasik v'roya mitis ha'inyan. He sees the truth, not just understanding. Because if it's understanding, so there's a counter argument. But if he sees it, he sees the truth in such a way that there's not shaykh, that there can be a question that says, but it says that. Doesn't entertain such questions, such challenges, because he saw it. Hein pnimius hamidus, and therefore that leads to an emotional connection that's mitzat pnimius. His love is a true love, not a conditional love. Boyfriend the libi the harbe chachmas he brought earlier from Mishlei. Shlomo Melech says, "My heart saw much chachma." That means that the heart is driven by not stam chachma, but by pnimis chachma. That's the allusion to the harbe chachma. So then, as a Amalek shlita klal, it's not shaykh that Amalek should have any hold on him at all, any rule. He's forever excited and forever devoted, forever. He was talking to us, friends. So there's got to be it's shaykh to us. I'm thinking of Chassidim that I knew, that I know. They certainly are holding at this level. So why can't we? You know what? I'm gonna post a little clip. Is it in Hebrew? He speaks in Hebrew. It doesn't matter. Many of us understand. It's a short little clip of an interview for a few seconds after davening of Tzvi Grumblatt, is the head shliach to Argentina. His story is an incredible story. He's a Satmar kid from Argentina that became. He says, I would say, I'm not exaggerating, he's a legendary chassid in his own day. Extremely humble fellow. Brilliant, and one of the founders of Lahak. Him and David Feldman. Of transcribing the Rebbe's Sichos and so on, making a seder. The whole Lahak was born from him. So he's interviewed just now before Yidalef Nissen. Someone, it looks like it comes from Chabad Media, something outlet of some kind. He speaks for 1 minute, friends. But the final words, I mean, he put a fire under my tush. I'm going to start doing something about it here, Be'ezer Hashem, where he's put the wheels are in motion. You'll see. I mean, he's an example. There's plenty. It's an example of Eila Molek Shlita Klau. Molek. Time out, me. I don't want to know. I don't want to care. Tomorrow, in a minute, but not now. You see, he lives this. It's nice to see such a chassid. So I'm going to post it on the thing. I sent it to my fellow shluchim, and it was like, oh. So remember what Amalek did to you in your journey going out of Mitzrayim. And that's the nature of Avodah. The nature of Avodah is that in the beginning it has to be Acharayim v'chitzonius. There's an agenda, there's a reason. And therefore there's the danger of the milcham of Amalek, which you must be on guard. It's going to happen till you get to until you're a pnimi. As it should be. Even then, on subtle levels, it also continues. It's not. Till Mashiach comes, certainly this avodah applies to everyone on their level, but it's all relative. It's not Tzvi is not exempt from the mitzvah of Schiras Amalek. It's all relative. So what did he do? Amalek, he was able to capture. He was able to the tail end, the weaker ones. He captured the maidservant. So the dik of the pasuk is that who were the ones that he ensnared? Acharecha, the ones that were hindered. Again, if we're holding by an avodah, which is an agenda, I want to be, fill in the blank, then there's Amalek, then there's coldness and doubts and timeout. Acharecha daike, so the tafke acharecha in the eile shem b'pchinas achrayim b'chitzonius. Let's just finish this here. Those are holding the level of achrayim b'chitzonius. Va'etzel azeh. What's the solution? Sheti avodah b'efen shel pnimius. Yeah, 8 says there has to be pneumius. Pneumius ein Amalek shlita klal when it's the connection from the pneumius and the shoma to the pneumius of Elikos. Amalek can't get in between there because there's no agenda. The opening is an agenda, but if it's not a means for an end, there is no opening. Friends, hear the final words of this oath. Vayomer Moishe al Yeshua, and Moishe said, Yeshua, b'char Lonu Anashim, choose for us people to fight Amalek. Choose people. What's the for us people? What's b'char Lonu? The answer is there have to be Anshim Moishe, because who unlocks the Pnimius and the Shoma? He's talking about the Yechida of each Yid. It's the Yechida Klolis, it's the Nosi. That's his whole Avodah, the Tetzaveh. And through these kashus to Moishe, this unlocks one's own Pnimius and the Shoma. Ki Etzlon, by such Eden, Anshim Moishe, the people of Moishe, Pinimis, the Pinimis is Begoloi. They live within the Shoma. And that, Anshim Moishe, is what negates the whole Metzius of Amalek, which is going on to explain the next ois further and explain the Kisei Shalom, Hashem Shalom. So the union of Iskashrus is not an icing on the cake, Chassid, and then be from a Yid and be Yerushalayim, and also be connected to the Nosi, and then higher level still. It's not a higher level, it's in the Kuda Atzmis. It's in the Kuda Atzmis, the essential bond with the Pnimis and the Shoma of a connection to Likus, Mitzad Likus. And that is the answer to Amalek. But the Iskashas has to be Pnimis. It's easy to scream at Rebbe, cry at Rebbe. That means nothing. It has to be a Pnimis Diki Iskashas.